Like, normally I would have some sort of plan for a Zatsudon instead of just flying by the pants of my seat. Wait. How on earth am I flying by the seat of my pants when I don't wear pants while streaming? Like, that's one of my rules. I don't wear pants while streaming because pants are just jail for your dick. I know what I'm going to fucking do. Oh my god. I'm going to review animals on a scale of 1 to 10. Alright. I'm going to find some way to randomly get an animal, or if anyone's in chat and wants to submit an animal, they can submit an animal. And I'll review whichever animal you submit. I am going to do a fucking animal review. Let me just pop this the fuck up there. Panthera leo persica. Hold on. I will do that. Actually, no, I'll do that right now. Let me Google that real quick so I can actually slap that in there. I'm going to drunkenly review animals. But Panthera leo persica, or the Leo Panther from Persia, as I'm going to call it. Save. Alright, image source. Pictures. Animal review. Okay. Wait, what? I said okay, you motherfucker. Why did you only appear on stream for a bit? Oh god, that's too huge. Hold on. Animal goddamn review. It's just a fucking lion. What the fuck? It's a lion, but like, it dyed its mane black because I guess it... But it's not all the way black, so that's not all the way... Okay. So I know what this fucking animal is then. Its mane is black, but the roots of it and the parts of it are still pale. Because this is a lion that just got over its goth phase. Like, it doesn't have the balls to cut its whole mane off, but it's letting the real color come back in, because it's coming out of its goth phase. That's all this fucking thing is. It's just a goddamn lion that's gotten past its goth phase. It's growing up, it's getting past its teenage years. The whole species is getting past its collective teenage years. And that's all this fucking thing is. It's just a large fucking house cat, but ex-goth. So, I mean, goth is an upgrade. A house cat's a pretty good thing. Recovering from goth because of the embarrassing shit you did while there? Probably a downgrade, so... I'll give this species a 3 out of 10. You might think that's harsh. Alright, next thing. The fuck? What the hell is this species? I don't know anything about this species, aside from the name when I clicked generate random animal. This fucking penguin is apparently called a Gentoo penguin, like Gentoo. Like the fucking operating system. God, how much of a shit do you have to be to actually be named after an operating system? If you're named after an operating system, it means that you've got no noteworthy qualities other than being similar to that operating system. Like, we didn't name the fucking grizzly bear after the fact that it was similar, after the fact that it had no traits and had to look for an operating system. What we fucking did was name it after grizzly, which is a word that means fucking dangerous. And look at this shit. Look at this shit. It's a penguin. It's like an operating system penguin. And it shares the flaws that every penguin has. And that it's like, oh, we should learn to fly so we can get away from predators and, like, not be attacked by stuff. And then we're like, you know what? Fuck this good idea. We'll just go swimming instead. How much of a fucking idiot do you have to be to choose to be born a goddamn penguin? Holy shit. At least this guy looks pissed off and like he'd fuck up your day if you fucking looked at him wrong. I'm giving the Gentoo penguin a 4 out of 10. Oh, wait, I should, no. Yes. Text. Create new. Animal ratings. Select fonts. The best of all fonts. That's right. Comic Sans. Panthera leo persica. 3 out of 10. Lion coming off goth phase. Gentoo penguin. 4 out of 10. penguin looks angry. I don't know if that's readable, if I've run out of screen real estate, but fuck it. I've got no fucking idea what I'm doing. I'm fucking reviewing penguins on a scale of 1 out of 10, man. We're off the rail. There aren't even rails. There were rails at some point. At some point, I looked at some train tracks and like, huh, those are rails, but no thank you. I won't be needing any of that shit. And turned around and walked right the fuck away. So we're just fucking reviewing animals at this point. Secure OS connecting to the net, penguins swimming right into orcas. Yeah, penguins are fucking stupid. I don't know whose idea it was to come up with penguins. Probably penguins because they're so fucking stupid. But penguins are just a bad way. I should throw on atmospheric music. Excellent. Excellent. Penguins are a stupid fucking idea. I'm gonna add that right now. Penguins are a stupid idea. Next animal. Crane. Like him or hate him, this guy has got a great sense of style. That little bit of red highlight at the top, that's cool. I know dyeing your hair bright red is pretty fucking lame, but I think this guy pulls it off. He can't... Can he fly? Do cranes fly? Let me Google that real quick. Google.com, alright. Can cranes fly? Yes. Okay. I was going to complain about how stupid it is to be a flightless bird and how that's just a terrible idea. But that doesn't even apply to this thing. It's a bird that does the thing that birds should do, which is fly. Which easily puts it in the top, like, 30% of birds. And then it's got, like, these pretty cool highlights. I don't know much anything else about cranes. I like the way this guy looks. He's got a very confident strut. Like, look at that. The way he's just sort of shifting his weight from the left to the right with this confident strut, eyes straight ahead, looking out for foes. This is a Chad bird. This is absolutely a Chad bird. Crane. 7 out of 10, the Chad of birds. You know, I bet when I sober up and rewatch this, I'm gonna have a lot of fucking regrets about everything. But that's fine. That's a problem for sober me rather than drunk me. And I think you all agree with that, right? This is the Chad of birds. It's got the confident stride. It's got those fucking wings that are there to grab pussy. It's maintaining eye contact with everyone at once. Scuttling beetle-like stride. Doesn't have the pink shirt though, so I guess I'll have to knock off a point for that. Hold on. Plus the Chad of birds, minus not pink. Now we have 3 animals, and that means that it's time for animal number 4 because I'm sober. That's still not... send help, please. I've got to do this for another 20 minutes. Anyway, the next animal is the bull shark. I don't like bull sharks. I've got a real grudge against bull sharks. Back in the day, back when I had, like, skin and flesh and, you know, the idea that maybe the future would get better instead of worse, back when I was a naive, stupid son of a bitch, Dante's Way to Purgatory to Nurse. It's fine. It's fine. I'll just go to work and sober up there. They won't give a shit because I've got blackmail on all those dumb motherfuckers. Yeah, just commit crimes right in front of me when I've got my cell phone going. Fucking idiots. Remember, kids, if you don't want to be blackmailed, then don't fucking commit the crimes. And if you do get blackmailed, call their bluff right away. The most important thing to do if you're getting blackmailed is to just let the blackmail out. The most important thing to do if you're blackmailing someone, though, is to use that blackmail to get more blackmail. The most important thing you do with blackmail is to get more blackmail with it. It lets you keep blackmailing them, because, like, if you have someone on something like tax evasion or, embezzlement, you can get them to do even more stuff if you can get evidence of them committing all sorts of weird sex crimes. One of the best tricks that I've found for having blackmail on people is not to just expose the blackmail right away or to directly force them to do anything. Just occasionally bring up topics of conversation that remind them of the fact that you do in fact have blackmail on them, but don't actually, like, use it, just remind them of it, and then occasionally ask them for favors without bringing up the blackmail. Their guilty conscience will usually get them to do what you want from them. But anyway, on to bull sharks. I fucking hate bull sharks. These guys are assholes. One of these fuckers tried to maul me once. Say tried to, because I kicked his ass, but... Nah, I was going swimming, and I saw this fin swimming towards me, and I was like, what the fuck? And there was a goddamn bull shark just going straight at me for some goddamn reason. I think it was planning on biting me. because it was swimming towards me. So I did what I've learned to do, what I'm trained to do, what my specialty is. Planted both feet firmly on the sandy grounds underneath the water, let my head sink under the water, braced myself till it got within striking range, and then threw a right hook straight at its eyes. And rather than just doing the regular right hook of, popping it right there and just leaving it at that, I did what I'm actually trained to do, and went for a thumb gouge with it to scare it the fuck off. I don't know if it got stunned or whatever, but it was there long enough for me to follow up with a left straight right into its nose. After that, it decided to fuck right the hell off, and then I left that shit-ass beach. And never went back. And that's my story of why I fucking hate bull sharks. They tried to fight with... Wait, how does that fucking phrase go? They tried to mess with the best, and they got their ass kicked like the rest, or something like that. God, I fucking miss beaches and, oceans. We don't have those around here. I think I've shown a couple of pictures of my front lawn on Purgatory with all the dust. We don't actually have oceans or lakes around here. We've got lots and lots of beaches, which don't connect to an ocean. They're just miles of sand. There's no water, there's no fluid, there's not even, oil. It's just sand. And they call it a beach. And there's just fucking miles of sand in every direction, and they call it a beach. What the fuck is wrong with people around here? That's not something that you can... That's not a beach! There's no water! Ah, this place sucks. I used to love swimming, but ever since I became a skeleton, I haven't even gotten a chance to see if it still works. I'd assume not. I don't have the buoyancy the way I used to. I'd probably just shrink to the bottom of a pool and, fall over, but... Anyway, since no one has submitted a new animal for me to review, I'm gonna hit the random button again. I got coral, but that's way too famous, and everyone already knows about coral, and I'm not going to improve their lives by letting forth a review of what coral is. Everyone knows what fucking coral is. It's shiny sea rocks. Some people might tell you that it's an animal or a living creature, and I wouldn't necessarily disagree with them. Rocks can be alive if they want to be. But it doesn't really create an interesting review. Everyone has their own opinions on coral already. I'm not going to be adding value to your opinions of coral. Ooh. This is a good one. I mean, it's also a popular animal that a lot of people have. But it's still something I think I want to review. Honeybees. So, I don't like bees. As a general rule of thumb, I had a lot of bad experiences with swarms of bees when growing up. Okay, show of hands in chat. How many of you in chat have had good experiences with swarms of bees? Anybody? Yeah, that's what I fucking thought. If there's a swarm of bees and you're experiencing it, it's always going to be a bad one. That's a very strict mark against bees in general. However, the design is pretty cool. It's not a good face shot of the bees that the website generated. But bees actually look a lot like Kamen Rider, that's a strict plus for them. Looking like Kamen Rider is definitely an upgrade. And they've got these cool segmented legs that look sort of like robot legs, and that's also cool. It's like a robot rider, but slightly less humanized. I dig it. It's a very clever and unique design. I would love to see some sort of protagonist in an anime or any sort of tokatsu? That's the term, right? I don't really watch much of that stuff. But I think it would be great if you use this design for a tokatsu anime. Not humanize it the way that Kamen Rider is humanized, just straight up, here's a bee. I think that would make a great main character. And I think that's underutilized as characters in general. A lot of bee designs, I think, miss out on the most important part of bees. They make them, really round and soft and fluffy. And... they're always just, spheres. They don't have that... With spheres with, human faces. That's not a bee. That looks dumb. So I'm going to give bees an 8 out of 10. Their bonus, the thing that makes them so good, is that they have high main character potential. With a minus of bad experiences with swarms. Bad swarm experience. That's a better way to phrase it. Bees, they're a solid 8 out of 10. They're not a 10 out of 10, but they're an 8 out of 10. Whoa, what the fuck is this? Oh, that's much less exciting than I was hoping. I saw a thing on Wikipedia advertising gun dogs, and I was like, yo, fucking gun dogs? That sounds badass as goddamn hell. Dogs that are also guns? Yeah, I'd be fucking down for that. Give me a fucking shotgun chihuahua. That sounds awesome. But then it turns out that gun dog actually just means, it just means fucking a dog that's used for hunting, which is like way the fuck lamer. I want like a pit bull that's also a rocket launcher, you know? Okay, so I pick one of these at random. I don't know how to pronounce this, so that's random. Monoblastozoa? That sounds fucking awesome. What the fuck is a monoblastozoa? Holy shit. So according to Wikipedia, this is the monoblastozoa. And you might notice that it looks like some sort of single-celled organism made of multiple cells. Look, I didn't go to college for biology. I didn't go to college, okay? But it looks like just clumps of very simple cells. So it's not like a single-celled organism, but it's like a 24-celled organism. That's interesting and memorable. That is a unique design. Most things get categorized into like vertebrate or single-celled organism or mushroom. But this defies those conventions by being a 12-celled organism, so high marks right off the bat just for design. That is really, really solid. I gotta give mad props to the guy who came up with this one. Of course you could eat it, Callie! You could eat anything if you're brave enough. It's just a matter of willpower and listening to the stomach in your heart. But yeah, right off the bat, very interesting, unique, and memorable design by absolutely destroying the fucking definitions of what an organism falls into, because this is neither a vertebrate, a bacteria, or a fungus. Fine taste for that stuff yet? I mean, I don't have a sense of taste at all. That's why I put barbecue sauce in my fucking coffee, because I can barely taste shit anyway. Actually, may as well just drunkenly transition to... No, I should write down my opinions of this so far. Monoblastozoa. Very rare 10 out of 10 species. No downsides. Unique design. Amazing name. Seriously, Monoblastozoa. That is an amazing name. I love that name. That is the name of a goddamn champion. Monoblast? That's like... You make that into a superhero or the main character of an anime about superheroes. Monoblast? That's the tits. You could make all sorts of themed powers around that too, like Monoblastozoa having the power to blast things exactly once. Or like having exactly one style of blasting, and that limitation on blasting would synergize excellently with all sorts of strategic writing when it comes to anime, right? Like, it's not just gonna be, oh yeah, I shoot my ki blast at the guy. No, he's only got one blast, and he has to figure out a way to make it work. Absolutely fantastic. I want to see an anime about the Monoblastozoa. Of course we can turn it into an anime girl. If it's a thing that exists, you can turn it into an anime girl. And not even exist in the physical sense. If it exists in the realm of consciousness, then you can turn it into an anime girl. But yeah, I guess I'll talk about how I lost my sense of taste and smell. So, one of the reasons I know so much goddamn bullshit about medieval weaponry and whatnot is I actually spent a while working as a blacksmith. I wasn't exactly working as a reputable blacksmith. We weren't out there crafting Masamunes or, you know, your local Excalibur shop. What we were doing is, if you've ever seen car springs, like the spring leaves that are just layered bits of steel on top of each other, we were taking those and shaving them down into the shape of a weapon and then tempering them and just handing them out. We sold them for like $100 a piece, which is $100 more than they were worth. Because that temper of spring steel does not hold a fucking edge. You'd cut something with it once, and then the edge would just fold over on itself, and then you'd be left with a blunt piece of shit. Works great for maces. It'll hold its shape great for maces, but for blades, it's useless. Anyway, we needed to make like 100 something. I could probably do the math to determine how many I had to make, because I knew that you could fit exactly 7 sword blanks into the big oven. Fit them all side by side and evenly spaced out. Anyway, we needed to make a bunch of sword blanks for a shipment, right? So I had a bunch, and we were in a hurry. It was past due. Biggest thing I've ever made. I mean, in terms of weaponry, it probably would have been just a greatsword, which was, again, a decorative piece of shit that barely worked. In terms of all things I've made, I mean, I've welded together bridges before. Bridges are pretty big. Anyway, so I was putting in a bunch of sword blinks, it's just like the blade and the tang that goes through the handle. It's just the metal part. You had the Quillons and the Quillon crossguard and the grip on later, and then I had leather on top of that usually. But we're just putting a bunch of sword blanks into the oven and heating them up to, I think it was about 2,300 degrees. It was supposed to be cooler than that, but that oven had a busted regulator and ran too damn hot, so we had to run fast. Anyway, I'd put them in there and let them heat up, pull them out, shape them a bit, and then slap them into an oil tank for quenching. And I had to keep up this pace at a very high pace because the oven was running hot and we were doing stuff that was overdue. So we'd put the sword blanks in there, and I'd put them in the oil and they'd quench down, and then I'd lift the basket with all the sword blanks in there and lift them up. And we'd let them drip dry for a bit, and then load them into a draw oven. God, what was the term for this? I think the term for this is bluing steel. It was invented by the French during the 100 Years' War by accident. Anyway, the point of it is that you'd heat it up really high, and then shape it properly, and then quench it really suddenly in oil, which creates these carbon crystals that give it a high degree of toughness. Then you'd put them up and put them in a draw oven to heat them about 300 to 400 to soften those carbon crystals into something that's relatively durable as well as having a high toughness. Or, God, it's been so long I don't even remember the right terms. The point is that it would be very hard without being brittle if you put it in the smaller oven. And then you take it out and put it in a clump and let it slowly cool through the air. Specifically, what we do is we pile all of the sword blanks together so they cooled off all at once. But I was in a hurry. I didn't have time to wait for the oil to drip off. I decided to put these oily sword blanks, 7 at a time, into the fucking draw oven. And the draw oven was running just hot enough to cause the quenching oil to smoke up when I shoved it in there. Was that it all smoked up all at once, and there's this huge blast of like 300 to 400 degree oil smoke just came straight at me. And I breathed in, and it just scarred the fuck out of the inside of my nose and part of my mouth. So I got no sense of taste, I don't got much of a sense of smell. It fucked up my vocal cords a bit too, because I inhaled it in and it went down into my lungs. And like the entire, I don't really have sinus, well, I don't really have sinuses at all anymore because I'm a fucking skeleton, but I was working as a blacksmith before I became a skeleton. And in that transition between dying and coming back from a skeleton, I didn't have sinuses so much as I had scar tissue the whole time. And you know, after receiving that grievous injury, I finished my shift. We needed to get shit done, and it's not like pain was going to physically stop me from moving my arms, and even if I did, it was just pain in the face and nose and lungs rather than pain in the anything else. And yeah, that's how I first lost my sense of smell and taste. You also don't apparently lose those if you become a skeleton, which leads to a lot of like depression and whatnot among like other skeletons, but I mean, things have just been on the up and up since I died. Things just sort of like not having a sense of smell and taste is something I was already used to, so ever since I became a skeleton, really things have just been looking up. It's like my dad always said, life sucks and then you die. And I think that lesson about the dangers of rushing blacksmithing is going to conclude our segment on reviewing animals. Why the fuck did I do a segment on reviewing? I just summarize this segment. Pantera leopersica, 3 out of 10 for coming out of its goth phase. Gentoo penguin, 4 out of 10 for being a fucking penguin. Penguins suck. They're birds that are stupid. Cranes got a 6 out of 10 because they're the chat of birds. They've got a confident stride, they're very tall, they've got a great hairdo and a great wingspan. Bull sharks get a 0 out of 10 because one of them tried to maul me once. Bees get an 8 out of 10 because they're pretty solid. Everyone has a bad experience with swarms of bees, but I think that the design would make a great main character. I mean, what's that one anime? So I'm a spider, so what? It's doing great as a spider main character. Just do something like that with bees, and you'll have a knock out of the park hit. And of course, Monoblastozoa, 10 out of 10 for having a unique design of being a multicellular, low cellular organism, and the fucking most kick-ass name I have heard in ages. Monoblastozoa? God, it'll blast you. It's One Punch Man. It's one blast Zoa. It'll just fucking blast you once and you're fucking done.